Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the weekly comic book roundup. We've covered a good chunk of it. We're about half of this week's books. Now it's on to the latter half. Finishing up Marvel and starting on DC. We're going to kick things off with Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, number 5. This is the final issue of the miniseries. Where we left off, Kate Bishop and her sister Susan had been, were dealing with a series of crime at a resort, and they discovered that the Bishop family holds a shard of a cosmic cube. And they instructed the mind-controlled guests to burn the resort to the ground. But Kate and her sister managed to help everyone get out and make sure that the fire didn't spread. So the issue begins with Kate and her sister heading to the Bishop family home, ready to meet America Chavez and Stinger, who are going to be helping with dealing with stories of crime and making sure they don't get the cosmic cube shard. And they get there, a plan is set up, and it promptly falls apart because the leader of the series of crime has managed to get the cosmic cube fragment. But Kate has to deal with insurance crime's other Archer, who she's got help, however, in the form of Stinger, pulling an old team-up trick. Ant-Man and Hawkeye. There's a Avengers. I think it's regular Avengers cover from years ago, where Hawkeye's got his bow out, arrow knocked, got pulled back, and laying on the top of laying across the arrowhead is Ant-Man. This was also recreated in Captain America: Civil War, but after taking down the evil Archer, things start to go a little wonky because reality is being reordered. But Kate manages to deal with Madame Thibault, and eventually, with an assist from Pizza Dog, who in fact gets the cosmic cube fragment off of Madame Thibault's arm and uses it to conjure up dog toys and pizza. However, Madame Thibault does manage to escape, but everyone's happy. Things have worked out, basically. And we learned that apparently Elijah Bradley, who formerly the Young Avenger known as Patriot, is investigating a nonprofit in Arizona where he found some weird encrypted documents about a sketchy research lab, which he has asked Stinger and America to keep an eye on. And that is where the series ends. It was a fun series. It really was. It was also kind of nice that I'm a huge Hawkeye fan, but a huge Clint Barton fan. But it was also really nice that Kate got to shine on her own. With Clint's only appearances either being like some based not being anything integral to the story. Most of it was just, Kate would text him. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Thor number 23. The conclusion to God of Hammers. Where we'd left off, Odin finally gave Thor the entirety of the Odin Force to aid him in defeating the Mangog-possessed Mjolnir. So we open with a flashback to Thor learning how to use Mjolnir, with Odin basically calling Mjolnir to him, with Odin explaining that he needs to keep his eyes open. He talks about how it was forged and the magic's in it, and yeah. But during their talk, Thor asks Odin if Odin can die. And then Odin says that none of them can, not really. But in the present, Thor is attacking Mangog with any olives at his disposal. And he ends up taking the Bifrost sword, uses it to contain the Mangog's lightning form. And he takes them to Nidavellir. And Thor smashes the ground with Mjolnir repeatedly, smashing Mjolnir to pieces, and collapses, waking up 4 months later, surrounded by Loki, Frigga, and Angela. And Odin is gone. But Angela has something for Thor. The shards of Mjolnir reforged into a hammer, but the magics of it are gone. Thor says a quick prayer, grasps it, and hears the voice of Odin saying, "Keep your eyes open, boy." Apparently, Odin's spirit resides within the hammer. And that is where the issue ends. Setting the stage for the next issue, which will be the big 750th issue of Thor. But honestly, Donny Cates' Thor run has been just phenomenal so far. Each story is knocked out of the park, and so yeah. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Punisher #1. We haven't seen a Punisher book in quite some time, due to the associations that have come with the Punisher's logo. But yeah, so we got a new take. It's still Frank Castle. He's still, going after killing criminals. We begin with a retelling of basically a retelling of the Punisher's origin. Family's shot up by the mafia. He's shot up by the mafia. Maria dies right there. When the EMTs arrive, they basically just say, the kids are in pieces, so just focus on the man and the woman. we get a collage of iconic Punisher artwork by various artists, including Mike Zeck, Tim Bradstreet, like John Romita Sr. is in there, Steve Dillon, John Romita Jr., Michael Golden. I think there's also some Jim Lee artwork in here. But yeah, it's a hell of a collage there. But in Greece, in the present, a group of monks in Greek helmets are blessing various weapons from a variety of places. Adamantium tipped bullets, assault scatterguns with pin particle shot, unstable molecule bunker buster ordnance, Shi'ar sniper rifles with 1 free month of drone-based targeting services, graviton bazookas, warhead of Watum, which one should be extra careful with, banner cannons, which are described as being a gamma-powered minigun, like if the Hulk was a machine gun. However, the Punisher shows up. The monks grab weapons, and they don't do them any good. Frank asks the one that he hadn't killed who they worked for. And Frank kills him. And a slew of hand ninjas arrive. And Frank instructs them to gather up the weapons and burn the rest. At the Hand's headquarters, he's welcomed back the High Slayer and an elder of the Hand explains that he was her choice to be the new leader of the Hand, giving us a flashback to weeks earlier. Apparently, also every day they bring him a batch of murderers who went free, rapists, abusers of children from all parts of the world, all found and brought before Frank by his most faithful disciples. But weeks earlier, Frank returns from his safe houses and is suddenly attacked by the Hand. The elder is watching as Frank wades through her men, or her ninjas. Gets injured even, but yeah, he triumphs. And she explains that they weren't there to kill him. They were there to test him. But they might have something that might change his mind. And a woman is brought out, offers a gift. And Frank once again asks if she's anything that belongs to him. In the present, he returns. He gets in bed next to the blonde-haired woman. His wife, Maria, apparently resurrected. Now, this is an interesting point because I remember back. I wasn't really plugged in during Secret Empire, but I remember people talking about how apparently Hydra Cap had promised to resurrect Frank's family. But that's the thing. That's not. It's kind of. It's kind of a long-standing fact that that's not something he actually wants, because he doesn't want them to see the person he's become. So it's interesting he's going to accept this. I figure there's some kind of end game here. So, but yeah, that is where the issue ends. An interesting start for certain. Yes, we will be continuing to follow it. Follow the series. So, moving on to our next book, then we've got Captain Carter #1. So Captain Carter, if you saw the Disney Plus What If series, the basic idea is that instead of Steve Rogers getting the super soldier serum, Peggy Carter did. Ended up frozen in the ice, yada yada yada. But she's found, thawed out, and decides that she's going to return to the UK. Because of the location she was found, the Russians are trying to lay a claim. Because of the fact that super soldier serum is a highly regarded national secret for the U.S. The U.S. is trying to lay claim, and because she's a UK citizen, the UK is trying to lay claim. Well, she has to go with the UK, so she returns. She's got a job. She takes a period back. There's some acclimation. She does admit that the food is much better. But she meets with the Prime Minister, and they explain that they want what's going on, superheroes. She's the first superhero, so But she's introduced to her, but she'll be working with they're going to strike Special Tactical Reserve for international key emergencies, and working. And her liaison agent from Strike is none other than Elizabeth Braddock. Turns out that Peggy went to Oxford with Betsy's grandfather. Apparently, he didn't. When Peggy said, gives her opinion of Betsy's grandfather, Betsy explains that he didn't really change. But she has Betsy drop her off at the cemetery so she can see the family grave marker. Then she takes a bus back home, but a car plows into the bus, and then a couple of bikers show up and shoot the bus up. Since Peggy's been given her shield back, she uses it to stop the attack. And, of course, it's everywhere. But there's one surviving attacker. Takes a cyanide pill, and his final words are, "Hail Hydra." Next morning when she goes to meet with the Prime Minister, however, well, yeah, the news media is waiting at the door for her. And that is where the issue ends. I think it's supposed to be a miniseries, and it should be very interesting to read. It takes a lot of cues from the reality of the episode that featured Captain Carter, but there's a lot of differences. Like Betsy, in the episode of What If that focused on Captain Carter. In the present, she's a shield agent. She's basically taking on the same role that Captain America had in the primary MCU. So yeah, this definitely will play out differently. It's really nice to see Betsy as a spy. And it looks like we'll be getting to see more of her in action. But yeah, anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Justice League vs. Legion of Superheroes #2. Where we left off, a great darkness anomaly had appeared at simultaneous points in both the 31st century and the 21st century, leading the Legion to come to the present. And when however, shortly after arriving, they vanished, except for Gold Lantern. The issue begins with Gold Lantern's and being selected for with Gold Lanter's origin. So he's from planet Apalopsa. He was a school teacher. He was a fire at the school. He was spent the day saving children. And he is offered the Gold Lantern ring. The idea being that, Green Lanterns were... Initially he refuses, though. Because the Gold Lanterns were, soldiers. The Green Lanterns were, military force. Well, that's not what he is. He's a teacher, But in the present, he's trying to figure out what's going on, but another anomaly appears over Washington, and he heads to it. In the future, the members of the League wake up. They've ended up at the League and Legion are in the future. Each one is met by a wakes up to a member of the Legion. Batman insists that the Legion send them home immediately. When another anomaly appears in the 31st century, Batman takes charge. Basically, they're told they're going to be, what they'll be doing is saying hello to the Great Darkness. But Gold Lantern's heading closer to the anomaly, and he starts to see something. He actually sees a light in the darkness, and the anomaly appears to be something of a conduit. He's able to communicate with Brainiac in the future through it. But it looks like the anomaly is growing, and Brainiac insists that the Legion and the League stop attacking it. As there's a rupture in the space-time continuum. When Batman asks what that means, Brainiac simply says it means the end of all things, and that is where the issue ends. I do have to wonder how... I presume this is going to be tying into the upcoming Dark Crisis story. I'm a little surprised that this isn't... This is put out earlier, so as to kind of be a good lead-up to Justice League 75, which will apparently be the death of the Justice League. But anyway, moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Superman vs. Lobo, Book 3. Finally. So where we left off with Superman vs. Lobo, Newman was trying to... Superman was trying to protect Newman. Newman had recreated both Zarnia and Krypton, and accidentally put Superman on Zarnia and Lobo on Krypton. However, it turns out that the universe that Newman is native to is an offshoot of the Wildstorm universe. As well, there's a group there called the Newman Revenge Squad, consisting of Mr. Majestic, Zealot, Hellspot, Maul, and Union. So it turns out that when Newman's species are born, basically they have to absorb life force from a universe, which wipes out the entirety of the universe. Lobo and Superman butt heads a bit, and Superman tells Lobo that he doesn't hate Lobo, he feels sorry for him. But Superman and Lobo take on the Human Revenge Squad, with Lobo taking out Union as well as Maul. We also learn Dr. Flick's origin. She's the last of her own species. A warship from a neighboring planet accidentally crashed there and let loose a plague. Her parents were biologists and tried to cure it, but they succumbed to it. So that's why she's been studying. Basically, she wanted to try and see the things that her parents would have wanted to see. But Lobo realizes that what's basically referred to as Newman's womb could be used as doesn't necessarily need to be destroyed. And realizes that Hellspawn's also figured this out. And so Lobo betrays Dr. Flick and takes the womb and remakes the universe as he's in his way of making himself the hero, main man, in a costume that seems to be inspired by the New 52 attempt at a Lobo. But on this, and Superman is the planet's despotic ruler. But Lobo, or main man, has a secret identity. Mild-mannered reporter Joe Wolf of the Daily Planet. Turns out that what caused Superman to turn evil was that he'd written basically Lex was smearing Superman. Jimmy went to get pictures. Lex found him and killed him. Superman heard the cry and went and then obliterated. Seeing that Lex had killed Jimmy, Superman killed Lex. But Lois invites Joe Wolf to his place, while an article about Superman was discovered on Lois's computer. And so, or her place, not a house, it's an apartment. But main man shows up, and she explains that the world they're living in feels like a badly written story authored by an edgelord. Though apparently, but yeah, Joe becomes main man, and the whole idea was that it was a setup so that main man could rescue Lois, defeat Superman, and yeah, get to be the hero. So the League of Last Sons comes together. Superman takes out most of them with ease. Then Superman and Lobo duke it out, and Batman steals the kill from Lobo using kryptonite. A second explosion of krypton means more kryptonite to use against Superman if need be. But then Superman, as he's supposed to be, saves Batman. The reality's remade. And the womb is used to blend the Wildstorm heroes into Lobo's universe. Lobo leaves, but Professor Flick is resurrected. Newman is studied, and it turns out that the energies he holds were able to power a wormhole, which allowed Superman to basically react anywhere in the galaxy. Lobo, however, started a show called the Bobro Show, where he talks shit about Superman, basically. And Professor Flick finishes up her article, and that is where the series ends. It was a fun series. I definitely I enjoyed it. I kind of forgot about it after a while because I mean this was supposed to be out in December. So yeah, but anyway, that's gonna do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.